Hello friends, welcome back to EPG Pathshala to continue our journey of learning object oriented concepts in programming. Well, in the previous modules we have seen that C++ provides various facilities which help us create a class which makes the user defined data type, our own data type, almost as powerful as built in data types. To make our data type as powerful or having the features closer to built in data type, another one more facility that has been provided by C++ is that of user defined conversions. So, in this today's module we will discuss user defined conversions. We will try to understand that what is the need of user defined conversions, and we will learn that how to convert an object to built in data type. We will see how to convert a built in data type to object, and we will also see that how to convert an object of one class to the object of another class. First of all, let us try to recall that if we have two variables declared as follows, that is, we have one variable int x whose initial value is 10 and we have another variable y which is a float type of variable. If I try to write two assignment statements like this, in the first I am trying to assign x to y and another one I am trying to assign x to y. We can see here that x and y are variables of two different data type, x is integer and y is float. Will above two assignments succeed? Well, you can recall that yes, the above statements will succeed, and how they will succeed? You may recall that no operation inside the computer can be performed on two different type of operands. If I want to add two integers, I can do so, but the computer will not add one integer to one float, but we are allowed to write mixed mode operations. Then how does this mixed mode operation works? Mixed mode operation do not work because computer can add one integer to float. The mixed mode operations work because before performing the operation, the compiler implicitly converts one variable of one data type to the type of the another data type. That means, it makes the type of both the operands similar and then performs the operation. So, the similar thing happens in case of the assignment also. The first will work because x gets implicitly converted to float and then assignment of float to float will happen. In the case 2, the y gets implicitly converted to int and then integer value is assigned to x. So, you will note here that assignment also happens with similar operands only. Only integer can be assigned to integer, float can be assigned to float. In this case, x is integer and y is float. So, it is not that integer is getting assigned to float, x is implicitly getting converted to float and then that converted float value is getting assigned to float variable. Similarly, here the y is implicitly getting converted to int and that int value is getting assigned to a integer variable. Now, how to convert an integer to float or float to integer, we do not need to define it because integer and float are built in data types and compiler knows how to convert into float or vice versa. But see, if I have two variables defined like this, I have two variables t and x, where t is an object of time class and x is an variable of integer class. Can I write assignment statements like this? Means, can we assign t to x or vice versa? Well, we cannot. If we cannot, why we cannot? Because in case of integer and float, we could assign an integer variable to float and we could assign a float variable to integer. We can assign integer to double or we can assign a double to integer, but here in this case these assignments will not work. If they do not work, why not? This is so because int and float are standard or built in or predefined data types provided by compiler, and compiler knows how to convert int to float or float to int, or in general it knows how to convert one standard data type or one built in data type into another standard data type or built in data type. we can understand that compiler will be able to perform the implicit conversion only when it knows how one kind of value can be converted to another kind of value, and since they are built-in data types, compiler knows that how one built-in data type is to be converted to another built-in data type. But if we look at this assignment statement here, we are trying to assign a time object to integer variable, and why this will not succeed? Because the compiler does not know how to convert time object to integer or vice versa. So, if I can define different kinds of classes, different kinds of an object. I may define an object of time class, I may define an object of matrix class, I may define an object of student class. When I try to assign these objects to the variable of other data types, implicit conversion is not possible, because compiler does not know that how this object is to be converted to another data type, or another data type is to be converted to object in what fashion. So, therefore, this is not possible. But the good news is that we can improve or we can modify our class to make this happen. What kind of a modification? The reason of this not working is that compiler does not know how to do these conversions. So, what we can do is that we can modify our class in such a manner that we convey to the compiler that how we want an object to get converted to integer, or how an object is to be converted to float value, or how an object is converted to the object of another class. Once we convey this to the compiler, compiler would know that how these conversions are to be done, and then it would perform these conversions. So, C++ allows us the facility to convey how we wish to convert a user defined data type that we have implemented as a class to built-in data type, or vice versa. Also, we can define how to convert one user defined data type to another user defined data type. To do so, we can achieve these user defined conversion, or we can implement these user defined conversions with the help of constructor or conversion function. So, today we will see three different kinds of user defined conversions, that is object to built-in data type, built-in data type to object, object of one class to object of another class. Let us see them one by one with the help of example. So, first we will try to understand how to convert an object to built-in data type. This conversion can be achieved by single parameter constructor. For example, if we wish to convert an integer to time object, we can define a constructor in time class which takes single integer parameter. Let us try to understand this with the help of an example. So, let us try to define an appropriate constructor in time class, as we have discussed just now, that the conversion of built-in data type to object can be achieved with the help of an appropriate constructor. So, with an appropriate constructor, and an appropriate constructor is a constructor which takes single parameter, and this single parameter is of that built-in data type which we wish to convert into an object. So, here in this time class we have defined a single parameter constructor which takes one integer as an argument. Now, this constructor will enable the assignment of an integer variable to an object. So, if we declare a integer variable seconds, and if we declare an object t of time class, and if we write this assignment, this will work. How this will work? As we discussed before, the assignment never happens for two different data types. So, the left hand side variable and the right hand side value both should have the same data type. So, what compiler actually does is that it converts the value of the right hand side expression into the type of the left hand side variable, and then assignment happens. Now, in this case, the seconds, which is an integer variable, needs to be converted to an object before this assignment happens. So, what the compiler would do? It would use this constructor to construct an object with this value, and a temporary time object will be constructed with the help of this constructor, where for construction of the object this integer value will be used like this. You can define here whatever way you want that value to be assigned to the data members of your class, or whatever way you want the conversion to happen, and that temporary time object will be assigned to this. So, to us it looks like we are assigning integer to time object, or integer is getting assigned to a time object, but actually what is happening is this integer variable or integer value is implicitly getting converted to time object, and that temporary time object is getting assigned to t, which is the object of time class. So, to convert any built-in data type to an object, what we simply need to do is that in our class we need to define a parameterized constructor having single parameter, and the type of that parameter has to be the built-in data type which we want to get converted into an object. So, to convert an built-in data type to an object type, we need to write a single parameter constructor in our class. Now, let us try to understand how to convert an object of built-in data type. Well, this conversion cannot be achieved with the help of constructor. This conversion can be achieved through a special function called conversion function. So, the syntax of the conversion function is operator keyword. Here we need to specify the data type, that is the type of data type to which we want the object to be converted. Here we need to specify that how we want that conversion to take place, and finally, the converted value need to be returned. See, this function does not have a return type, but it needs to return the value of this data type. This can become more clear if we take an example. So, let us take an example of time class only. This is our time class having three data members, hours, minutes and second. We have a default constructor and we have a parameterized constructor here, and here we have defined a conversion function or operator function. So, syntax here is operator int, which means this function we are defining to enable the conversion of time object to integer type. So, what are we doing here is we are defining here that what way we want an object to be converted to an integer variable, and what we are doing is we are converting the entire time into the seconds, and that is what we are assigning to seconds, and that should be returning, and that converted second should be returned here. Once we define this function, we will be able to write the following main function, or we will be able to write this following assignment statement. Here, the moment we say t seconds is equal to t, if this appropriate operator function is defined, using this operator, compiler would know that how this time object to be converted. So, here this time object has values as 2 hours, 15 minutes and 30 seconds. They will be converted into seconds like this, and those and this operator function will return seconds, which is an integer value, and that returned integer value will be assigned to variable seconds. So, this t will be invoking this operator function, and hence here when we are talking of hours, we are talking of hours of t, we are talking of hours, minutes of t, and here second is the seconds of this t. Now, these three values will be converted into a single integer value which represents the total seconds, and that seconds are being returned. So, this operator function after invocation will return integer value, and that integer value will be assigned to seconds. So, whenever we want to convert a built-in data type to an object data type, we need to define an appropriate operator function or conversion function. Here we define an operator function as operator int. If we want the time object to be converted to a float value, we need to define an operator function as operator keyword float, and this operator function should be returning a float value. If we want a time object to be converted to a double value, we need to write an operator function as operator double. Let us see here if I want to convert a time object to, if I am defining this operator function in time class and I want a time class object to be converted to float type, I will say operator float, and after computation I should be returning a float value here. If I want my time object to be converted to if my time object to be converted to a double value, I should be writing an operator function as operator double, and here after computation the double value that I obtain should be returned. So, if I want to say have float, I can if I want to convert my time object to float also, I may define another operator function and there I would say operator float. So, to convert built-in data type to object, we need to define an appropriate conversion function, or I can say an operator function. What if I want to assign the object of one class to the object of another class? Can we assign an object of time class to object of matrix class? Can we assign an object of time class to object of student class? Well, if we can define that how we want this object to be converted to another class, we can do so. Now, what we will have to do to convey that how we want this convergence to take place, let us understand this with the help of example again. So, if we have to convert object of one class to the another object of another class, let us assume that we have two classes called INR and US dollar. The INR class represents Indian currency and or money, and the US dollar class represents a US currency or the money. And let us say if we define two objects of these classes respectively, for example, if I have a object my money that is of type INR and I define another object your money that is of type US dollar, can we do these kinds of assignment, such as can I say my money is equal to your money or your money is equal to my money? Well, yes, we can do so, or we can make this work by making appropriate enhancements in class INR and US dollar. Now, what kind of enhancement that we need to make and what updation that we have to do in the class, or how we need to modify our class for achieving these kinds of assignments, let us see that with the help of an example. Now, let us take an example of this assignment. Here what are we trying to do? We are writing an assignment statement where we are trying to assign your money to my money. So, we are writing a statement like my money is equal to your money, where my money is an object of INR class and your money is an object of US dollar class. Here let us understand that this is the source and this is the destination, that is this value is being assigned to this. Now, to achieve this we have two options, either we can modify source class that is the US dollar class, or we can modify destination class that is INR class. But if I want to modify source class, I will have to do something different. If I want to modify destination class, I will have to do something different. Let us see what modification we need in source class or what modification we need in destination class. See, to achieve this we do not need to modify both the classes, we can modify either this class or this class. We can decide whether we want to modify this class or this class. If we decide to modify this class, there would be something different we need to do. If I want to modify this class, something different I need to do. Let us see both the cases one by one with the help of an example. If we want to modify the destination class, what is the destination class? As we have seen before, if I say my money is equal to your money, the destination class is the class of my money, that is INR. So, if we want to make modification in destination class, what we need to do is we need to write appropriate constructor. You would recall that when we wanted to assign and built-in data type to the object type, we had to modify the class of object. Again there the object was destination. So, for this conversion we define an appropriate constructor. So, in general we can say that whenever we want to modify the destination class, for achieving the conversion we need to define an appropriate constructor. When we wanted to convert integer to object, what we did? We wrote an constructor which took one integer parameter, integer value as an argument. Here we wish to convert an object of US dollar class. So, what we need to do? We need to define a constructor which takes object of US dollar class, and then what we would do? That we will try to convert this. Now, this conversion that I have written over here, these are not accurate conversions. You can modify this code and can actually obtain a more accurate way of converting dollars to rupee. But in general, if we assume that the conversion rate is 70 rupees per dollar, it is a very approximate kind of an conversion that I have done. You can write a more appropriate code for proper conversion that you want to do it. I have made it simple because our focus is how to learn how to achieve these user defined conversions in C++. Okay. So, what we do is we will divide the dollar by 70 to get an approximate value in rupees, and similarly cent into this paisa. Ideally, we should convert the entire money into the cent and convert into the paisa, and then finally, we should achieve rupee and paisa. But let us simplify the whole thing. What we say is we simply divide these US currency by 70 and we achieve this currency. But see, notice here, this 1 and 2, these statements will not work. Can you guess why they will not work? They will not work because the constructor that we have defined in INR class, and here we are trying to access the private members of dollar class. Now, the constructor of INR class is not member of dollar class, and therefore, in this particular function the private members of dollar class are not accessible. So, these two statements will not work. Here I am trying to access the private member of US dollar class in member function of INR class. So, this is an outside function for dollar class, hence the access to this is not provided. These are private members of US dollar class, but we need these values to perform the conversion. So, what we do? Well, there are two things that we can do. We can write a get function in dollar class and can use those get functions to get the values of private members of dollar class, namely dollar and cent. What we can do is we can define a get dollar function in US dollar class, which will return the value of US dollar in that object, and we can define another get function get cent, which will return us the value of cent in the object. Now, this get dollar and get cent functions are public functions. So, they are accessible in this particular function, and our these two statements or these two conversion assignment statements will work fine. But let us say if we do not want to modify the source class, it is also possible for us to achieve the same assignment, that is my money is equal to your money, by modifying the source class. So, which is the source class here? The source class here is the US dollar, because we are assigning your money, which is the object of US dollar class, to my money, which is object of INR class. So, the object of US dollar class is getting assigned to object of INR class. So, US dollar class object is source, or US dollar class is source class, and INR is the destination one. We just saw that if we want to modify the destination class, what we need to do. Now, we will try to see that if we wish to modify the source class, we do instead of destination class, what we need to do. Again, when we wanted to convert an object to float class, what did we do? Here the object was source. So, when the object which is to be converted is the source, what we need to do? We need to write a operator function or conversion function. So, here also since we are trying to modify the source class, what we need to do is we need to write an appropriate conversion function or the operator function in source class, that is US dollar class. How? Let us see. Here we are modifying the US dollar class. How what we are doing is we are writing an operator function operator INR. You would recall that in here we specify the data type to which we want the object of US dollar class to be converted to. So, here we want the US dollar class object to be converted to INR object, therefore, we would define an operator function operator INR, and then we can perform this these conversion like this, and finally, we need to return the money object to which can be the returned object can be assigned to the my money object. So, you would see that when we modify this source class, that is our US dollar class, and write an appropriate operator function, these two statements 1 and 2 here will also not work. Why they will not work? For the same reason that here rupee and paisa are not accessible to us. So, this rupee and paisa are not accessible to us. So, why they are not accessible to us? Because they are private members of INR class, and the private members of INR class are not available in the member function of US dollar class. So, what do we do? Well, there are two ways that we can do, or there are two things that we can do to achieve this. The first one of them is that we can, instead of creating an object of INR object and then using a value, we can write a return statement like this. Here what we are doing is, we are creating a named INR object, initializing it with the values that we wish to with which we the values with which we want this object to be constructed, and therefore, there is no need of accessing rupee or money. The object will be constructed by means of a constructor, but we need to note here that this will work only when we have a parameterized constructor in US dollar class. We have another way of doing the same thing also. What we can do here is, we can do that by writing now a set method in INR class. So, what we do is, we define two functions here, money dot set rupee, and then we pass that particular value. This function will do what? It will assign this value to the rupee member of INR object, and here we can call the function set paisa and pass this particular value. What this particular function will do? It will pass this value, it will assign this particular value to the paisa data member of the INR object. Now, these two functions are the public methods of the INR class, therefore, we can easily invoke them in this function, and these two functions will do the job of assigning these values to the rupee and the paisa data members of that INR object. And once we do so, we will be able to assign, we will be able to achieve the assignment that we wish to do. So, let me summarize this conversion of object of one class to the object of another class. If we have the object of two different classes like my money and your money, which are the objects of two different classes INR and US dollar class, to achieve these two statements we have different ways. Either we can write appropriate constructors in INR and US dollar class to make 1 and 2 work respectively. For example, the constructor in INR class will make this one work and the constructor in US dollar class will make the second statement work. The another option that we have is that we can write constructor in INR class to make first work and we write the conversion function in INR to make the second work. This way, by modifying only INR class, we will be able to achieve these both the assignment statements. The third option that we have is that we can write constructor in US dollar class to achieve the second, because here the object of US dollar class is the destination. Therefore, we can write in constructor in US dollar to make this statement work and we can write a conversion function in US dollar class to make this work. So, here by modifying only US dollar class, we will be able to achieve both the assignments, or we will be able to make both the assignments work. The fourth option that we have is we can write conversion function in US dollar class and INR class to make the first and second work respectively. If I write conversion function in US dollar, this will make this statement work, and if I write a conversion function in INR class, this will make this statement work. All right. So, in a nutshell, we can say that whenever we have assignment statement which involves the object of our class, if the class that we are trying to modify is the source class, in that case we need to write a conversion function, and if the class that we are trying to modify is a destination class, we need to write an appropriate constructor. So, let us summarize what we have discussed today. Well, if we wish that the way we assign built-in data type or one built-in data type to another built-in type, or I would say the variable of one built-in data type to another built-in data type. In the similar way, if we wish that the objects of our data type or objects of our classes should be, we should be able to assign to. Let us summarize what we have seen today, learned today. Today we learned that how to define conversions so that the object of our class can be assigned to built-in data type, or maybe the object of another class or another data type, or vice versa. That is, if we wish the another built-in data type to be assigned to our object, or the object of another class to be assigned to the object of our class, we can define our conversions, that is user defined conversions can be defined in C++. The user defined conversions C++ can be achieved through constructor, conversion function. Now, the conversion from scalar data type, or we can say built-in data type, to class type can be achieved by writing appropriate constructor in class. The conversion of class type to scalar data type or built-in data type can be achieved by writing conversion functions in class, and class to class conversion, or we can say the conversion of object of one class to the object of another class can be achieved by either writing constructor function in destination class or by writing operator function in the source class. So, the classes that you have defined so far, do try to define user defined conversions for those classes, so that you are able to assign built-in data type to the object of your class, or you are able to assign the object of another class to the object of your class, or vice versa. That is, you are able to assign the object of your class to some built-in data type, or you are able to assign the object of your class to the object of some other class. So, as I have discussed before, and I have repeated in earlier modules also, the best way to learn the programming is to write as many programs as you can write. So, keep writing as many programs as you can write, and keep implementing every single feature of C++ or every single facility that we have been discussing. So, wish you very happy programming. Look forward to see you in the next module. Thank you.